What is up, BookTube? It is Monty, and today I'm here to talk to you all about The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This was the Unfriendly Black Hotties book club group book for the month of July. So let's get into it. So if you weren't aware, The Vanishing Half is an adult literary fiction story about two sisters, Desiree and Stella. They're alive growing up in the Deep South in a town called Mallard, which was an all light-skinned sort of situation. More on that in a moment. Establishment, and then they're growing apart, growing up, and then they're daughters. And sort of like a family reconnection. And I have to say that I was not the biggest fan of this book. I did find it to be compulsively readable, well written in general. I was always drawn forward in the narrative, but I think that maybe it's because it's an adult literary tale. Obviously, the literary fiction gets to do a whole bunch of weirdness, in my personal opinion, where the plot isn't always sort of super relevant or there for a lot of it, and for The Vanishing Half, that is definitely the case. I think that for the first, I don't know, like 3/4 of the book, maybe, it's sort of like a series of vignettes that don't really stitch together. So the first part is Desiree coming home to Mallard after leaving as a child. She ran away with her twin sister when they were like 16 years old or so. They were in their teen years. They ran away to New Orleans, and eventually Desiree found her way to the Washington, D.C. area, where she married a dark-skinned black man who beat her. And so when she comes back to Mallard, she is leaving that abusive relationship. And there was just a lot in that first part that I did not like. I did not like the notion of like this very abusive dark-skinned man who was beating on this light-skinned woman because she was a light-skinned woman. It was just very, there was a lot. Do I think that happens? Definitely. Do I think that it should be depicted? Probably. Did I enjoy reading about it? No, I did not. I don't know. It was reading a little like tragic mulatto-y to me. I don't even know if that's like the correct trope. I don't know if I'm trying to sound more educated, but there was just something that rubbed my spirit the wrong way about that whole sort of dynamic and situation. So that's Desiree's story. She comes back to Mallard, and that's where she raises her daughter, who is a very dark-skinned girl, which is a very, it's a big problem here in Mallard. I think it's in, I'm gonna say, still in Louisiana. So Mallard, Louisiana was founded ages ago by Desiree's ancestor, who was a light-skinned man who was a product of a slave and the master. And this man also had a lot of like very colorist ideas. The whole town had these very colorist ideas. And they almost all of them were hating their blackness. It was very strange to me. I couldn't really relate to that. I've never hated my blackness the way that these characters seem to hate their blackness in this book. And then the second part of the book, we follow Desiree's daughter during her college years in the 80s. Was it the 80s? No, it was like the 60s, 70s time period. She's in college in California. She's doing her thing. She gets into a relationship with a trans man. It was very cute. But she also connects with her cousin there. And she runs into her aunt. And then the third part of the book is from Stella, who is Desiree's sister's perspective. And Stella has chosen to live as a white woman since she ran away to New Orleans. At first, they just did it as a joke type situation. And then they did it to get a better job outside of where they were, so they could send more money back to their mother. But eventually she decides to live her life essentially as a white woman, and she becomes married to a white man, and they have a daughter. And you really get to see a lot of internalized anti-blackness through Stella's perspective and what's going on there. After that, we follow Stella's daughter, who, again, Stella's daughter has no idea that she is a half-black person, and so her perspective is really her coming to terms with her blackness, which was very odd. I felt that chapter was the most wishy-washy, where at times her daughter was like, yes, I'm a black person, and sometimes she was like, I am not a black person. It was weird to me. It didn't really make sense. It was very all over the place. I didn't really understand where Britt Bennett was going with it. Overall, like I said, I didn't really enjoy the narrative. I found it at times to be enjoyable enough, and at times I was like, I don't really understand what's going on here. It doesn't seem to be very consistent. And then, like I said, I didn't really think that any of the conversations around the colorism or the passing, really, it didn't do anything for me or my spirit, really. So, like I said, it was a 3 out of 5 stars for me personally. I don't know if I actually rated it on Goodreads or that's what I just put in my reading spreadsheet that I keep for myself personally. But, like I said, wasn't ultimately for me, but I do think that it could be for somebody else out there. So, I would cautiously recommend it. If it was something that was already on your radar and you were already interested in, then sure, go for it. I hope that it works out better for you than it did for me. But that's really that's all I gotta say on this one. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far into the video, make sure you leave this emoji down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys again soon with another video. But until then, and until next time, bye.